Hello, everyone. Oh my God, did you miss me? Were you crying because I took a week off? I know I wasn't because I needed it. Cameron, did you enjoy your break?
Of course. I love a break.
And
No,
we can tell by your dulcet tones.
back to usual.
Welcome to Whennrome, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. We are back. We took a break and we are here. We love you. I have Jason. Say hello.
Hello.
And I have Tyler.
Hello.
It's oh my God, what is it? White Cup 3. Never mind. Oh shit. Let me.
Brought back some memories.
Ooh. No, we're not gonna go through that porn. It was Tyler's favorite one. Welcome to Whennrome. We're back. We are back from outer space. We had a much needed break and we enjoyed it. I went through all that. Tonight we're gonna be dropping our second interview with Craig Morrison. I know you guys saw the first half and you know how good it was. The second half, Craig really gets into like, you know, some advice and all of like the things about like running parties and throwing parties in SF. And as someone who's been throwing parties for like the last 2 years, he's probably, you know, he definitely has a lot of good advice and kind of insight on what it's like to throw parties. So stay tuned after the news recap for that, babies. Next week, we're dropping our second half interview with Alfonso and Joaquin, my two verse friends. I know you love this episode, bitch, because I mean, it was downloaded so much. So I know you're going to love the second part. So stay tuned for that. We're also planning on bringing you some panels. Don't worry. We're recording one soon. It's on how to throw a good orgy. Because like, if you've been following me, you know that I'm like, I'm trying to put myself out there in the sexual spaces and learning new things. And I want to bring you guys on the journey. And I have some funny insights to talk about throwing orgies because I've had some cute ones. Sorry, I got lost on the orgy. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in and listening. Remember to listen, like, share, and laugh. My IG is WHENNROME. Remember to get your mood enhancers, please. Everyone get your mood enhancer. Cameron can't be a cock. Cameron, no, put down the cock. Cameron, please.
Take it out of your mouth,
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Consider yourself enhanced. Let's get into it, guys and girls and fembies and everyone. Happening since we last saw each other. Wow, it's been 2 weeks and a lot's gone on. So let's start in order. I went to Outside Lands. Yes, I was out here. And it was fucking amazing. Did you guys go to Outside Lands?
I didn't.
I didn't get to.
That's no.
No.
Cameron didn't even have the mic in his hand. That was a hell no for Outside Lands. So I went, guys. It was my first time. It was really fucking fun. I saw Doechii. She was amazing. She was fucking phenomenal. She was fierce. She was giving everything she gave at the Grammy performance. She was, and after being so disappointed by Tinashe, I was very excited about Doechii, and she gave it to me. I'm definitely going to see her tour. It's going to be here in November. Like I would eat Doechii's pussy, and I don't even like pussy. Do you know what I mean? Like I would just be like, "Woo," you know what I mean? That's how starstruck I am. You know what I mean?
Well, my statement was going to be, I'm happy to hear that, but that was...
And I know
That's like a bridge too far.
I've eaten pussy once, by the way, and I heard it was amazing at it. So if I did eat Doechii's pussy, she'd be like, "Oh my God," it'd be like all the bottoms who follows. Anyway, you know, anyway, Doechii was amazing. Doja was also amazing. Like if you like are into Doja, then she's a great performer. And it was really, really good. It was my first, it's like my second festival. I really want to start doing more festivals, maybe more festivals than SF if they have good people. So yeah, Outside that was good. Let's see. So you know you're doing something. You know you're doing something right when you have to fucking deal with an internet troll and a stalker in the same fucking week. Let's start with the internet troll. So you know I can't stand when people go to social media try to legislate or have an argument with a quote-unquote friend. I had a friend, big emphasis on the had, who decided to rant about me on a bender for like 2 days, but not once text me or hit me up and talk about his said issues with me. The shade against the guy is that he ranted for 2 days and not a single person told me. Like I was literally sleeping the entire time. So it was like, is it a rant if nobody cares? Anyway, to that ex-friend, thank you for escorting yourself out of my circle. Please don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm like too grown to be fighting on Instagram, girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm 42. We need real friends in my life. Like call me, text me, let's walk it out. I don't fight with my friends. We have arguments, we have disagreements. We don't fight. You know, fighting.
We have conversations.
We have conversations and blah blah blah. Like, come on, girl. Anyway, but yeah, I thought that bring that up to you. And I have a stalker. So let me just tell you about this. When you told someone multiple times to their face to leave you alone, and then they just keep approaching you in public, you know what I mean? And like, when you're in like the bathroom or these situations where you're around people because they know that, they can't get popped in the face or something like that. It's a stalker, you know what I mean? Like, and so like, but like, so I just working with security, and I'm sure we're talking to this boy or whatever. But I just want to, this is to everyone out there. Like, you're not gonna get my attention by trying to do that, because this has happened to me multiple times. Like, I'm telling you, you're not gonna get my attention. I'm not gonna give you shit. You know what I mean? You're just gonna be escorted and banned. You know what I mean? Like, right. But I whenever these things happen, I remember what my mom said is like the brighter your light shines, the more people are gonna more haters you're gonna have, and some people are just gonna tear you down just because you're shining bright, and you're not gonna understand why, and you just don't give them any thought. Those are those people. You know what I mean? And that's real. A sign that my light is shining.
It is.
Right? Let's see. You know what really fucking grinds my gears, guys? The fact that I can't get any gay friends who act as good wingmen. Do you have good wingmen in your life?
I have a great wingman friend. Unfortunately, we don't live in the same city, so it doesn't really work.
I don't know.
When we're together,
breed good wingman, motherfucker. Cameron, do you have good wingmen in your life?
Yeah, I think so.
You do, because you have me and Phil and other Tyler.
My muffin.
I do. He's in Oakland.
Yeah, well, I don't. And so one of the things that grinds my gears, I feel like who I am, I feel like I spend so much of my time bigging my friends up and making spaces for them, like helping them meet boys, and like, you know what I mean, creating spaces where they can like play and fuck with these boys, whatever. And I just realized that none of my friends do that for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, except for a select few that I've called out. But like, it shouldn't be this fucking hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, where are the friends that I have that who make me feel confident, big me up, be my wingman around men? You know what I mean? It's just, like, I realized like I'm the least comfortable around my friends when it comes to men, and I should be the most. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That is what true friendship is to me. It's support.
Yeah, at least in this regard. I mean, so these friends I have, you know what I mean, have helped me other ways, but it's just like, y'all need to grow up. It's fucking disgusting.
Be more
anyway, on to good news. I'm going to ATL Pride, Black Pride in ATL for Labor Day. Need to put myself in front of some black men who can make a man, feel special. Any of you guys going to ATL? No? That's fine. I'll tell you how it is.
Have you been?
Never been.
No?
It's your first time in Atlanta?
Yeah.
I've been to Atlanta. Yeah, it's a good city.
It's a good city.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have to talk about, oh my God, finally getting my teeth taken care of. Oh my God. Teeth fucking things are so expensive. Yeah. Jesus, I know y'all been on a teeth journey, but here's my problem. They be trying to get me set up. Like, don't set up a dentist appointment at 9 a.m. on a Monday. Come on now. I tried, Cameron. I took the day. I didn't go out on
I wish
Sunday
people
night.
could see how hard I am.
I tried, bro. But a cute boy hit me up on Sunday night, and I was like, girl, fuck that dentist boy. This one trying to get this. You know what I mean?
You're like, on a Monday?
That's literally what happened. I was like, oh, no. And he said, you up? I said, I sure am. I sure am. Fuck these damn teeth. It's fine. I'm getting him taken care of tomorrow. Whatever. I'm done. Let's go to party reviews. Party reviews. Okay, so I went to a couple of parties this weekend. Boom Boom at Bo. So this party was fun. It's gotten bigger and bigger, and the music choices have gotten better and better. They used to I feel like they used to pick songs that were just a little bit too slow for me to dance to. So I think that they're definitely picking more danceable songs, and that whole vibe shit, like the genre shift is real with the Brazilian music, pop music, when they do things like this. But it was more palatable, I will say. Also, it was cool to see Bo open till 4. I feel like the Castro clubs have all gotten a certain amount of days and they can open until 4 or 6. And it's good to see it, happening, especially if they can do it on good times like Castro Street Fair shit. Yep. Although it takes a while for people to learn how to do after this, because at 2:30 people are just too drunk.
Yeah,
they messy about usually 1:30.
And then the problem also is that they want to go to Apollo because you can still drink at Apollo. True. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of it's hard. It's going to be a little bit harder for the clubs when they do these afties to keep people there, because if you do want to drink, especially from 2 to 4. Do you know what I mean? You might after 4 you probably want to start stopping or slowing down, but 2 to 4 you want to keep it. Yeah. And so with Apollo versus them, it might be hard.
How late were you there?
It's about 2:45.
How was it at that time? Was it still pretty crowded?
Yeah, it was still that people. It was everyone was really drunk,
messy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Young at that point, and then people were starting to filter out. You know what I mean. But it was still a really good party. So go for Boom Boom.
Did you like the music?
Yeah, like I said, it was like they generally are like they pick pop songs, and normally sometimes I think they can pick some like pick songs that are a little bit not danceable, even though they're popular. So this time, I mean, I felt like there were much more danceable songs, and I just love the vibe. It's very much like if you go to this party and then you go to like a club in Brazil, there are clubs that like this is exactly like this, right? So it really does give you a Brazilian vibe, which I think is cool. Cool. So I also went to Electrolux at 10 SVN. So it's an Electrolux, obviously, it's at a new location, which is actually I probably shouldn't say it on the podcast. So yeah, it was a new party at a new location. The location was cool. I would say that like the music wasn't great as per usual in terms of like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
There were a couple of DJs that I liked and vibed with, but yeah, overall,
Yeah,
I was the music wasn't there for me. But overall, I mean, there were some DJs I did vibe with, but also the space is so big. I've been there before. I do like SBN though.
I mean, I haven't been there before. Cameron?
I have a few different notes. No, like same sentiments. Like I think it was done well, like for what it is. I think that space needs a
lot of like pageantry to make it work. You know what I mean? You need it's just so big, and so it needs a lot of effort to make it look good. You know what I mean? And so you need a lot of things, activities, booths.
Yeah,
decoration.
It's like I think it's an interesting one to try to play around to have two different rooms, which I know that's what they were going for with their like lineup, and I think that may have been like the one thing that contributed to it feeling so disconnected because in the downstairs there isn't a place to really do that, but then if you were upstairs, is it far enough from that other stage that was there? So I think like simplifying it to like one section I think can do really well in
but the problem with that is that like the collective music isn't that good, so then you wind up, you know what I mean, like you generally like to have more than one room because you can bounce back, you know what I mean, at least for me. So like, I understand what you're saying, but I also think that like they probably like the spaces were so the two rooms were so far apart because if you notice the other room was smaller, so from a cheaper standpoint and also from like you don't want to have two cavernous rooms where it looks like nobody's in it
for sure.
But it was just like it's just a weird setup, you know what I mean? But it's just like the location is great, but I think it's only be good with really big parties that can really fill up the space with activities and shit to do.
True. Right. I agree with Cameron. Like the way they set it up, it was done well. And I think like you said, if it's going to be a place that they're going to maybe do some more things, they can like play around with it. There are a couple other rooms, and I'm assuming, like you said, like the different spaces probably financially are different things. So you want to play around with the person who's going to come. And
I just feel like I feel like it would take a bigger party, probably not necessarily Velvet, right? You know what I mean? But it would need to be like Electrolux and something else, to fill up all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a collaborative thing.
Yeah, just because it's huge and it has these big rooms and all that. So I mean,
I think like my thought was, if you ignored the downstairs and you just used that top level because it went out to the roof. They were doing like silent disco out there, and then they had the smaller room in the back. I know they were going for this like after dark theme, so I'm wondering if that's why they went to that basement level versus if they would have just done it up in the top. Like,
that's what you mean, like like one room there and one room there.
And then you have outside too. Also, like, you know, depending on what, like, there's a lot of functionality even just in that flat level that I think even if it's a smaller amount, I have a feeling because it was that theme, that's why they went with the downstairs, and it may have been it could have been that, or there's a lot of things.
The vibe was good though. I mean,
the boys were hot. The vibe was good. It just, you know, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I think like a bigger part, like a sneaks kind of thing, would be good there. You know what I mean? Because they have a little bit more pageantry and probably a little bit bigger of a budget. Because it was kind of like an off party, so you're not going to spend too much money on it.
I also think that it's great to. It was my first time at the venue, so it was great to see. You know, someone throw a party there, like one of the like camps and things like that. But I think it's just almost the same thing like the Mint. Like it was like someone does it once there, and then maybe we'll see more of people throwing things there because there's not a ton of like programming that I've seen at that venue. So it's a lot of like daytime stuff or
that fucking ring, what is
like
the skating ring.
The skating ring. So I think like there's potential. Of course, who knows what that cost is, but I'd even love to see like just a daytime outdoor thing on that roof deck. You know, if someone do something, you know, who knows.
All right, and with that, we'll move on to upcoming events. So we've got Lick It at Powerhouse this Saturday at 8:23. You want to talk about it, Jason?
Yeah, I will be at Powerhouse this Saturday. It's always a fun party. Always bring the vibes. Always bring bringing the
boys.
sexual
Sexual
energy. You know what I'm saying? Like you were talking about the music at the Electrolux. Like I love Electrolux. I've had experiences similar to that at their parties where it's kind of like
hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
But that won't be at Lickett, honey.
But that's
It'll
not
be
gonna
a
be the
hit.
case at
All right, and then we got Beats and Eats at Teeth on 8/24th. That's a Sunday. I told you guys I enjoyed this party last time I went. I definitely like the venue. I like that, especially during the day. The music was really good and the food is really good, so I'll definitely be there. We have Maximus at Bo on 8:30. I won't be here because I'll be at Labor Day, but if you are here, you should go there. The DJ is fine, and he's really good. DJ Izzo Jr. So yeah, check that out. Bo is really bringing the circuit music. We have Side Hustle Sunday on 9/15 at Audio. New house party coming to the scene with DJs Empress, Sammy Taylor, and CJ. And then we have Aya at DNA Lounge on 9:30. Hard Reset is throwing a hard-hitting Latin and house party with all female DJs. Sounds sick. I'll be there with some more chata. So there and be square.
And I will add that on August 31st, I will be at Hard Reset for at Q-Bar. So
for their Sunday weekly party.
Their weekly party.
Okay. I don't know what date.
August 31st.
August 31st.
My pregame before I go to Midway for Ashanti.
Okay.
Hey, Ashanti. Ashanti's gonna be here.
We'll be at the Midway on the 31st. Where y'all at?
Wow.
Okay.
Come on, Ashanti.
Okay.
With
You'll
no
be in
J-Lo.
Atlanta.
She can sing the original lyrics.
Trey Songz is gonna be there though.
Trey Songz. Oh, his fine ass.
get
Maybe.
Maybe I shouldn't go. It's the 30th.
Okay, maybe I might have to go see if Trey Songz can sing me something. All right, and with that, let's go to break, y'all. I'm thinking about Trey Songz and I dig. Never mind. And we're back with world news. All right, first topic. World facts, actually, right, Cameron?
World facts.
So world news. Brazil asked Meta to remove chatbots that eroticize children. So article synopsis. Basically, Brazil's Supreme Court has asked Meta to remove bots that are made to interact with children. So, you can make these bots and they interact with children and then they basically send sexually suggestive comments to them. Brazil's Supreme Court has passed a law that says that online agents are responsible for the content they put up and they're also responsible for keeping sexually suggestive content away from children. It discusses a recent scandal in Brazil where an influencer was arrested for fucking with children, and he also posted sexually suggestive pictures with children on his IG. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not news that Meta or the social media companies don't give a fuck about the content they put out. But I mean, I chose it because I was like, I don't know, it's nice to see a country who seems to give more of a fuck than we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we have a law that like literally says that the online companies that don't have to worry about.
They have carte blanche. They can just do whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember which it is. And it's also just nice to see, since we're the only oligarchy in this fucking country, a country that's like, willing to stand up to these fucking social media bitches. You know what I mean? I do like that. Europe is pretty good at it too. It's I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, my opinion on it is at some point AI is going to get too powerful to control. It's like you can try to restrict it. And I mean, I think that, you should restrict it. There should be some legislation, rules, some kind of guardrails so people don't, go into psychosis, because that's what happens. Like people use these chatbots like a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So
because people, but the thing also is that people don't really realize is that there's so much thought that goes into getting their interest. Like there's psychologists that work for these companies. You know what I mean? There's behavioral scientists that work for these companies that create these apps to addict them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but they take no responsibility for what happens once they addict them. You know what I mean? They don't take responsibility for the content. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be hard to keep sexually suggestive work. We know Mark Zuckerberg don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because Trump is in office. He just basically said, we're going to let them police themselves. You know what I mean? Fucker.
Yeah, I mean, and there does need to be some regulation because we create AI, like we program it. Like even with Grok, there was that period where Elon was trying to make it like more far right, you know?
Right.
So I mean, it's just like, we need to definitely.
Well, the city is now passing laws right now with AI. It's actually in court because AI is used now for everything in the city. I'll have people, because I'm in property management, I'll have people come to my office, where's Elise? Where's this guy? And I'm like, it's an AI robot. It's so crazy that it's so humanized, but then You're right. It needs to be regulated as well. And then, but this is just wild using it for this. I'm like looking at influencers in certain countries. They're usually they're not usually they're using it to post like naked pictures of minors and stuff like that, like partially and things
And
like
I
that.
mean,
It's big influencers.
it's not hard. It's not hard if you are willing to spend the money to get this shit filtered out. They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Like, you know what I mean? Look at China. Like, we know you can filter some shit out and
Exactly.
keep people from seeing some shit because China is showing us how to do it, girl. You know what I mean? So, like, don't act like in real time, motherfucker.
Right.
China will like be like, you'd be like, Shishi what? You know what I mean? Shishi who? You know what I mean? So it's not like we don't know what's possible, but it just shows that like they don't give a fuck, and that's why you need governments who are willing to hold these motherfuckers
But you know,
accountable.
it goes back to what we always talk about: how corporations are the root of the problem,
Yep.
and capitalism is
Is part of it.
part of it. So
Cameron?
it's all together.
Yeah, capitalism is shit.
I think that this entire movement, or I guess this technology, it's really interesting in what we're learning and how it evolves. I think that it's interesting that what struck me as interesting about this lawsuit is how, like, I would assume that Meta has some guardrails in place because other companies do. So it seems like it's very like.
Well, remember though that like Meta did have, you know, outside companies, and they used to pay people who would go through all the stuff. But then after Trump, they said that they weren't doing that anymore. And they went to what Twitter did, which is have like more like online communities, which you can flag something. Basically, users flag it as bad, and users flag it as what we've seen. There's been studies that show that doesn't work.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So actually, Meta has gone back. It used to have better restrictions, but now it has more, at least in America.
And that's what they wanted. Like the right wanted to just be able to say whatever they want.
And that's what Meta wanted, because that's the more right word it gets, the more they can sick people in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's
It's like a recruitment.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that the other thing too is I know that like the article states like, oh, here are some of these like examples where XYZ where it's doing this. It's also, while it's highlighting the issue, it's also then like people are trying to break these things. So it also comes down to like you are going with like you're trying to break it. You're trying to expose this, and it's like, do you like, are you suing someone because of it versus like saying, hey, here's, that, like, I'm just thinking about like as we evolve on this approach is like the like nothing's ever going to be perfect in something that is constantly evolving. So it's like
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking here about just putting in some basic fucking, you know what I mean, structure to keep kids from seeing titties. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what Brazil is trying to do. But, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be people trying to push the zeitgeist, but I think there's some basic shit. Kids can't see this kind of stuff should be built in automatically. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Yeah, I just think that there's like the larger sense. I think there's a lot of talk around like AI, what it can do, and like how it's bad. But then it's like all of that comes down to how we use it. So there's just this like counterpoint that like you can always try and think of every which way someone may like try to do something, and like people are smart and crafty, so like it's going to be this ever evolving thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely,
like,
the struggle will never end, right? Like, you're always going to have to fight hackers and people trying to get around things. That's very, very fair.
Yeah.
All right. With that, let's go to American news. And we're back. Oh my God, Cameron, the British are coming. I hope you recognize that. We're at American news. All right. So how the Supreme Court could wind up scrapping high-profile precedents in the coming months. Ooh, this article is basically about the cases that could be overturned or have their precedents reversed or tweaked in the upcoming session, with the Supreme Court considering that it doesn't really care about precedent anymore and seems to care about kissing Donald Trump's ass. The biggest case that could see a change is Obergefell versus Hodges, which was a case that made same-sex marriage legal across the board, or legal across the land. This won't be the only case that could change things, probably just the biggest. Other cases they're looking at in the next session would be allow whether Trump can fire the heads of individual agencies, which you can't do now, a rule limiting how much cash political parties can spend in conjunction with federal candidates. It's already too much. It will also decide a case surrounding redistricting, and whether some of the recent redistricting actions by Louisiana violated the 14th Amendment. All right, so we haven't talked too much about the third rail of the government, which is the Supreme Court. But let's discuss these old, disgusting, decrepit men, except for the ladies. And no, there's that one bitch. But the other ladies are like, you know what I mean? There's that one bitch. And I can't even say I like all the black men on it. You know what I mean? We got Claire Thomas, bitches. Oh my God, I have a heart attack already. Oh my God, can you have sickle cell? Never mind. Oh, let me move on. Sorry, get the hate out of my heart. Okay, so if you haven't been following it, the Supreme Court has been bending it over and taking it in the ass from Donald Trump for a while. Definitely been a glory hole for the Republicans. Would you guys agree?
Oh, absolutely.
And this is pretty much been going on since Mitch McConnell stole the Supreme Court seat from the Democrats by holding it open until the Republican president's position. You know what I mean? Remember Mitch McConnell? Like, my God, the guy who looked like an alien. Like, oh God.
He blocked Merrick Garland.
Hello. But then this has been the planning for decades, and now we finally have the 6-3 majority that they've always wanted, and so they can slowly start to roll back the administrative state. Started with things like, rolling back Roe v. Wade, and now we have a bunch of other things. I mean, they've been rolling back a lot of shit, right? And this most recent session, these are the things they're thinking about, and so I just wanted to talk about it. What do you guys think?
I mean, my first thought was term limits.
Hello.
You should not have a lifetime appointment.
Right?
To
like
the Supreme Court.
There should be like a wrinkle limit. Like if you have more than 40 wrinkles on your face, then you gotta go, girl. You know what I mean? If makeup can't keep them wrinkles out, you're too old. You know what I mean? My God, RPG, that bitch should have. Let's not
lifetime
talk about
appointments.
That. Right. So yeah, term limits, or some being able to hold them accountable ethically. I mean, these motherfuckers are just literally getting apartments paid for by.
They're bought and paid.
Yeah, literally.
Well, that's the point. They need to stop realizing that it's not about their rights; it's about the power of the states. That's the biggest thing. My religious rights, it's not what it's about. That's not what their role is. Some of these people that are supposed to be leaders, they're supposed to be actually doing it for a public service, and that's
but they want the religious
fucking...
thing because that's
exactly
through that becomes power, right? Yeah,
right.
I mean, if you start using religion, then you could be the white man at the top of that religion.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You could be the most powerful. Religion is just
about power over
to get them power,
to manipulate. Exactly.
To manipulate patriarchy, blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, I don't actually know whether they're gonna overturn same sex. I mean, it's one of those we don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like they could, it might happen. You know what I mean? Like the Supreme Court, it's probably if that one bitch, what is her name? The one white bitch,
Amy Coney Barrett.
Amy Coney. It's probably if she's on her period. You know what I mean? That's all that's gonna determine it. You know what I mean? Is she bloating that day? You know what I mean? Is she feeling a little, you know what I mean? Less sensitive in her titties, hot flashes. Anyway, go ahead.
It could go either way. I mean, it could go 6-3, 5-4. I don't know if they even decide on it, but this is why elections matter. This is why they matter, because we have been saying for so long that you need to go out and vote, and voting is not the only thing, but it is important because it puts people in positions of power, and when they have that power, they're able to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they're doing. And
this is about voting all the time, not just for presidents, but voting for your congressman, it's voting for your senator, you know what I mean? Voting for your whatever, because it's those are the places where the Democrats struggle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always got great presidents, but they struggle with you know what I mean, some of these smaller localities and shit.
I feel like the problem is that the left doesn't have a unifying thing. The right, they feel oppressed. They're not, but they have this victim mindset that we need to fight for our rights. We need to, it's very confrontational. But the people on the left don't really think like that. They're kind of live and let live.
And I can say, and yours absolutely, because I'm raised in the Southeast, and that's the thing. The power is of people not being financially stable. They will do anything to provide for their families, even screwing people over. Mm-hmm. And that is the biggest thing.
And they're also being fed a pile of
the lies, like you were
to
saying,
keep them from realizing they have more in common with us than they have.
And
exactly.
The rich
and
white
they're not as educated.
You know what I mean?
So it's a cycle.
So we back to the slave time.
But then when you also look at the Democrat side of it too, they don't stay focused. A lot of people, there are people that are more educated, that are able to do things that, like you said, big elections, woo, another election, no one says a fucking word. Then how do you expect to make change if you don't use your power?
Yeah, Cameron?
I think that this goes back to a previous episode where we talked about this, where it's with the Supreme Court, they are, when there's a vacancy, it's they're appointed based upon our elected
Officials, yes.
officials, confirming that.
Yeah.
And then our elected officials are supposed to act in the way that their constituents feel. And it's like it's this whole thing of we have a system of electing officials that are supposed to speak on behalf of the people and represent them, but they don't actually represent the people that so it's just, I just feel like it's such a broken system of government to say, like, of course, and there's not a way in this model to have someone and always truthfully say, I'm always going to do this, because they're human. So it's like, what's the better way in a sense to go about doing that, so it is actually a true representation of what a body of people.
I feel like a better way would be not to like. I feel like once you get to a certain point, everything's just assumed you're going to be a good person. Like, we assume that Supreme Court justices. That's why they have no ethics code. They have they can't be corrupted. No way to be held accountable, because apparently they're just not supposed to be. Well, guess what? They fucking are. You know what I mean? Corrupted. So now the fuck what? You know what I mean? But the problem is we need a whole we need all of Congress to be able to do anything to the Supreme Court, and half of Congress is sucking them off, fucking them in the ass. You know what I mean? So they can get some good free loop. So like, you know what I mean? They ain't gonna help us out. You know what I mean? They keep wanting us to get that cheap shit. You know what I mean?
And I think it's really interesting when.
And I don't want rashes.
They got a cream for that. I just think it's interesting also when you just look at this kind of structure of like the Supreme Court, and you have it's 9, right? Mm-hmm. These 9 people just get to, again, like you're saying, is like they make determinations, but they are. Their like creed is to say I'm unbiased about it, but clearly there's always bias. Like you don't.
Yeah, they're pick bias, both liberal and conservative. You know what I mean? And they lie to us and say I'm not going to do this, and then they just do it.
And they do it. They lie. And then what happens? There's no accountability.
Supreme Court, RFK, Amy Bear. They literally all said that they would not overturn Roe v. Wade. They literally said they would not overturn precedents. And guess what they did? They fucking did it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
It's like with Trump too. It's like he just says it. They say whatever they need to say so they can get the power that they want, and then they will use it against the people who gave it to them.
As usual, my recipe for this is everyone needs to get laid. Because, generally, if you're getting good sex, what I mean? Amy Coney Barrett don't look like she looked like she poured coochie dry. Yeah. And that's a problem. You know what I mean? Remember, like, when, like, they passed that bill in England, in Scotland or whatever, that like, all women are men or separate or something like that. And all the women out there were like, girl, if all y'all just got coochie ate, you wouldn't be out here worrying about other women. Right.
Yeah,
you'd be like, I am happier right now. Because my lips so wet. Anyway, let's go to break. And we're here for local news. Okay, so I chose this one because I thought it was a really good example of how kind of like Trump policies can actually affect San Francisco. So ICE makes unusual arrest of indigenous woman in SF immigration court. Articles about basically it's a local example of the cruel practice of the Trump administration when it comes to deporting immigrants. Specifically, it was about how the Trump administration targets asylum seekers when they go to court. The DHS attorney, Department of Homeland Security attorney tries to get cases dismissed, and then the ICE agents arrest immigrants who have their cases dismissed. Even though the judges in SF rarely dismiss them, the ICE agents will try to arrest the asylum seekers anyway. Like. So it talks about a specific case where there's a woman who only speaks Mam, which is a Mayan language. And so in this woman's case, who's an asylum seeker, her case was not dismissed. It was postponed until they can get an interpreter, and she was arrested anyway. And it talks about just how the lawyer was upset, tried to talk to the ICE or whatever, but they obviously don't give a fuck. And then so. Yeah, I just wanted to we all know, we see it on the news, you know what I mean, blah, 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 but it still hits us in San Francisco, even though we are a sanctuary city. And, I personally know illegal immigrants, you know what I mean? So this hits really home. And it was just such a sad, you know what I mean? It's just very emblematic of the cruelty of the Trump administration. These are people who like literally have been running from, have been seeking asylum, have been vetted, have been given asylum. Exactly. You know what I mean? They've been vetted by the State Department, and you're deporting them just so you can hit some fucking numbers, which you told everyone was just supposed to be illegal. It was supposed to be criminals. Yeah. You know what I mean? This woman is literally getting taken away from her kids. You know what I mean? It's just like,
it's a lot. It's a lot on the
You
psyche.
just want Trump. You want that last Diet Coke that Trump has to have poison in it, right, Drew? Can someone put cyanide? You know, I can't actually say that, but like,
I mean, but this is what this country has been to. Like, this is what happened during enslavement, right? Family separation.
Every subsequent president has deported more and more people. Barack Obama deported the most people ever. Biden deported more. You know what I mean? So like, and we believe that Barack only deported criminals, but we don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I mean, America has definitely gotten a lot more conservative about its borders, and that's true of a lot of first world countries. As we are starting to hit the rubber hits the road on our finances, and it's easy. It's just like you know what I mean. That's what people do. You know, first world is like you see in Europe, right? They're starting to get much more racist and blah blah blah. You know, now that you know the Social Security nets and blah blah blah, you know, are starting to come to roost. Are starting to like fade out. You know what I mean? Some of these, and it's just what people do, but it's sad because immigration is what built this country. Immigration is also what's going to keep this country populated when our population decline starts to hit. You know what I mean? Right. Like it's immigration immigrants who keeps it.
And a lot of the white people in this country are here because their grandparents or great grandparents were immigrants.
Hey, girl, oh my God, Cameron.
Yeah, I think what upset me the most in reading that article was this like. Almost like this sting operation of like that they're waiting outside of the courtroom for like their case to be dismissed and then they arrest them
or arrest them even if it's not dismissed. Like like, that's crazy.
Have it here, but it's like there's which I know it's like trying to ask the devil for a nice gesture, but it's like you can't even say that if their case was dismissed they have like 7 days to like figure things out. Like they're here with this protection, and then you're gonna say the minute after that gets taken away, you're just gonna swoop them up, take them away, and shove them out.
And they're kind of this is the Trump administration trying to dismiss asylum cases that the previous administration said was okay. So you know what I mean? That's the even cooler part. You know what I mean? Like instead of just being like you know what I mean? Like instead of just being like the people who work in the government have vetted this person, you're just saying fuck them. I want to hit some numbers, and so I need to get these people turned into a certain type of illegal immigrant so I can get them deported. But like you know what I mean? When the system that we have built in place that is not political at all has said and vetted these people and said that they need asylum. That's how cruel the system is. You know what I mean? That's how cruel they are. They don't give a fuck. They just need brown bodies in the seats. You know what I mean? Not white bodies, brown bodies.
Yeah.
That's just the cruelty of it. Like these are real people that like there's no political bias in deciding the asylum, and Trump hasn't even said that. You know what I mean? So this is just literally like people that we've previously said we vetted and said they've come from a place that they need asylum, and now just because we need more numbers, we're just gonna scrap that. Like you know what I mean? It's just disgusting.
Ugh. Yeah. It's ugh.
Let's go to local pop culture news. And we're here with pop culture news. So, man's small plane keeps getting stolen and returned, and the mysterious thief even replaced the battery. Yes, you heard that right, everyone. So this is the story. This guy basically had his plane stolen multiple times. He's like 75. First of all, come on being like 75. Anyway, he's 75. He had it stolen from Corona, California. The police said they found it at an airport 23 miles away. And then when he went to go take a look at the plane, it was fine. And then he took the engine out of the plane at that point so that they wouldn't take it. And he was like, let's get it inspected. They called him and told him the plane was taken again. And then they found it in another airport with a new engine, right? So like then he went and got it. And then he's got like a plane lock, because I guess like a bike lock, but for a plane. So yeah, I just thought this was crazy. First of all, this is one thing. Like I didn't know you could just like steal a plane and then just fly it across the country. Like you steal a car and they report it stolen. Like generally that's how a lot of people get caught, right? Like, they get stolen cars, blah, blah. But apparently you can steal a plane and it gets reported and you can just go to Vegas, you know what I mean? And hit a Corona, take a flight to Tahoe, you know what I mean?
Leave a battery
Let's go down to San Diego. And then also what is the policy on flights when you can just fly a plane into an airport and then just get out and chirp it and walk off and just leave it there?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
like,
the,
you don't
that's
have to
the shit I'm
register,
like,
get out,
Who's
talk to
verifying these
anybody,
people?
verify, talk to. What is going on? I love how you can do whatever you want with a plane, but you can't do shit like that with a car.
True.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got more registration for a scooter
True.
than a
I'm
fucking
thinking about it,
plane.
like people in the South, they would just go fly in planes and just
Literally, you
go
have to
out
register.
there.
What the fuck? What y'all?
I'm like, how
now
how
we
do
know.
you steal it? Like, why? I mean, well, we know it's
Drugs.
they're drug
You
running.
you just
Right.
something. And then not them being like we got you a better engine anyway, girl. Like your last carburetor was a little. Ooh,
They're like, we're coming
right.
back.
It's like,
You're
we hooked you up.
right. You
hooked it up, don't worry.
Charge, baby.
We got you.
That's definitely drug related because they only drugs that have that much money don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, let's give them a gold plated
We're
engine.
gonna
We don't
upgrade it,
care.
like, yeah, like,
Thanks,
fix the shit
girl.
up.
We're in it together.
And then the other thing is like the guy had to check FlightWare to see where his flight was, where his plane was. Girl, like they don't like what? Girl, not you having to put an air tag on your flight on your actual plane.
Metal
Like they don't
hot
have better ways to track this shit. Like not like your plane has just been flying across the country and you just like
Right, better look up more, people.
what? And then they just leave it in the parking lot and there are no cameras at these airports.
That's
Like
right.
what the? These are airports. Nobody has a camera to see
You
when
can't
someone walked off a lot or walks on a lot or flew on a lot. Any
need
of
a-
these crimes?
You need a runway to steal a plane.
Fuck.
And the only lead is a middle-aged woman, and they say the suspicion is because she sat in the plane and didn't get out because it was so hot. So I'm like,
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I love that. That's the only thing that's suspicious.
know,
There's
I know.
this
Only thing?
woman sitting in the cockpit, not this random plane that's stolen because I guess nobody checked registration. Not, you know what I mean? Like,
just oh, it's still hot.
you know what?
It was
girl,
kind of
we
weird.
should go. Let's go look at some planes because it just, you know what I mean? It seems like it's real easy. You just pop a lot
Right?
and fly to Vegas. You know what I mean?
Look up
Shit.
some.
And we'll
And
just leave it right outside the wind. You know what I mean? They pick it up, girl. You know, it's fine. Give them a little pay for the gas. It'll be fine.
Go for a flight.
I
this
mean,
weekend.
and the other part about this is like you actually have to know how to fly the plane.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can steal a car,
Yeah,
but you
you gotta
it's like
select-
when you steal that plane, you better
and
know
that
what the
type
fuck
of
you
plane,
doing.
that type of plane, you know,
Yeah,
there's
that
all
type
types
of
of
plane,
planes
right,
and shit.
right.
And also you, not only that, but you also apparently have to know the plane because you know how to install engines.
That-
You know what I mean? Like, I
Self-confidence.
can't take an engine out of my car, you know what I mean, or anybody's car. Like I can
guy's
pull
an
out some, you know what I mean? I can. The one thing I can pull out of a car is the floor mat. That's exactly how I know how to take that.
How to pull
Cameron?
up to the to the.
This is very interesting. It's like, I wonder, maybe it was in the article, like how long this has been going on, because it's like, how did he also? Was it like they just got it at like the off days where like when he went, it was there, and maybe like Tuesday,
It's-
Thursday,
It sounds
wasn't.
like he just. It's because he's 75. So I mean, he probably this
started on his
motherfucker.
75th birthday.
Yeah, the motherfucker probably ain't flying every
Yeah.
time. So it's probably sitting there for months at a time. But you know what I mean. But it's just funny that like I guess you know I'm like him. I wouldn't have thought I needed a bike lock. You know, on my goddamn. You know what I mean? On my airline
plane.
Like, right? Like
I think it's
I
safe.
thought the airport had enough security, but apparently I have to get my own. Can you imagine? I'll be driving up to the airport like,
insane.
yeah, I brought my chain.
Right?
Shit,
Fuck
ghetto
off.
ass airport, right?
Sketchy people around here stealing
That's like
planes.
bring your own TSA agent to the fucking.
Gotta get your
Oh,
own
I
security.
brought somebody to check everybody's bag because y'all ain't doing it no
And
more.
also, just like you said, you have to know how to fly. The confidence to steal someone's plane. The confidence.
That's the balls on
That's
that man. He
right.
probably has good sex.
Well, I mean,
All right. And with that, let's go to the fight the power segment. And we're here with the Fight the Power segment. Hiya! Yeah, I like that. I took karate when I was younger. I'm not gonna tell you a color belt, but it wasn't white. Thank you. I did something better than white. That was weird. Anyway, so we're talking about the Fight the Power segment. This segment, we're talking about Serbia. Come on, Serbia. If you haven't been following the news in Serbia, I mean, why would you? They are in the midst of fighting a power against their corrupt government, and they are protesting in increasing numbers to demand new elections. Currently, the president does not want to do that, and the violence has been escalating against the protesters. Protests were triggered by a railway station collapse that killed 16 people and was blamed on the corruption that kept the station from being safe. Hundreds of thousands of them are protesting, and recently police have become more violent. Protests have smashed windows of the ruling party offices. Protests have gripped Serbia daily, and we wish the people of Serbia success in their fight against the power.
Fight
Yeah?
the power.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the person who's been in power has been there for 12 years ruling over them, so they're really just trying to, get their point across. But it's also like the guy's made some pretty heinous statements like violence is an expression of total weakness, like telling these people not to speak out, punish the bullies. So he's obviously
a mess. You know what I mean? He's a dictator.
and he's pro Moscow kind of person.
Well, let's not blame all Russians, okay? Not all Russians are horrible. Just Putin and that bitch, okay? Right. You know what I mean? Just those two motherfuckers. And a couple others, right? Probably. I mean, I got fucked by a Russian one day, and I was like, okay, some of y'all good. And with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the news recap. Stay tuned after for the second half interview with the Craig Morrison to talk about the only ways to start and throw parties in SF. Next week, we're dropping our second half interview with Alfonso and Joaquin. Stay tuned for that. Also, please check out our Discord server. Links in the show notes. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next week. Remember to listen, rate, and share. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Roman.
Cameron, are you here?
Yeah.
Cameroon. And we love you. Also, remember to set a reminder so you'll get a notice when I post new shows. Send me any feedback, questions, comments, or concerns. My IG is WHENNROME. And until next time, keep it sassy, San Francisco. Sorry. Keep it sassy, San Francisco. Keep it sassy, San Francisco.
We're
Keep
just
it
trying.
sassy, San Francisco.
Keep it sassy.
Keep it sassy, San Francisco. Which one do you like? Let me know.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part 2. It is I, Roman, and we are at the Whennrome podcast. Yeah, part 2, sorry, with the interview with the only party promoter, Craig. Say hola, Craig.
Hola, Craig.
Hopefully you watched part 1. If you haven't, stop now. Watch it and come back. Okay, so I assume that you've done what I asked. Stop and come back. So let's move on, guys. It's like that scene from never mind. I can't remember. Okay, so thanks, Craig, for being here. Let's get it started. So we were talking about your in the last half, we were talking about your move to Q-Bar and how great it was. Let's talk about what do you think was like have your biggest party to date? What was it? How did it go?
So we just did our first big party, big budget at F8.
Okay.
For 4th of July, we brought Chicago house music legend Derek Carter.
Mm-hmm.
This whole process kind of just fell in our laps.
And this is a bigger party because, one, it was at a different venue, right? Much bigger venue to fill than Q-Bar. Q-Bar capacity is like, what, 80 or something?
It's like, yeah, under 100.
Under 100. So if F8 is 200 or something, 250?
Yeah, I think
so it's like we're talking about double, if not a little bit more than that. The capacity, different place. It's like, you know what I mean? It's not,
I think it's like 290.
290,
Yeah.
so triple the capacity.
Yeah.
It's in a different location, and it's basically it was basically kind of like a bigger stamp than what you were doing before, right? You know what I mean?
And it's a very well-established underground electronic music club.
Yes.
So
First time also, your first time also started doing a big DJ, right? 'Cause Derek Carter
and
was a
also
big DJ.
it's the first time I've ever signed a contract for a musician.
I remember being with you after seeing, because we were seeing Derek Carter at Audio, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, upstairs.
we saw this was after I had already signed the contract, but I wanted to see him play live. Derek Carter was recommended by the manager of F8.
Okay.
I should probably give just a tiny backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
So we had the opportunity to do an after hours party on 4th of July.
Okay.
And it all just kind of fell apart. But when it fell apart,
Why did it fall apart?
the people that run the afters didn't want to have that big of a name on an afters because it puts a little bit too much attention on the afters.
So it's not that we're gonna get too much people, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
exactly.
Okay.
And then it kind of like
Which is interesting because I feel like they don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you should see the afties, you know what I mean, in the city with like fucking lines around the block, fucking like lights in the sky. They have a tent when it rains. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's be subtle.
Yeah, it probably could have worked fine, but it's kind of a blessing that it didn't. So we reached out to a friend. So we already had contacted DJs and stuff, And then when it all fell apart, we reached out to a friend and said, hey, we already have this DJ. We already have a quote. We've got the contract ready, but we don't have a venue anymore.
Right.
So he connected us with the manager of F8, Raf. And Raf said, let's actually ditch that DJ. Mm-hmm. He's great. He's played here before. He's not going to sell you out on 4th of July.
Right.
So why don't, and if you know Raf, this guy will just list off a million names and you just got to keep up.
Right.
And so, but the name that he kept repeating was Derek Carter. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So, then he mentioned another name and he's like, let me talk to Tyrell. Tyrell knows Derek Carter. Mm-hmm. He can help you kind of get things going. And so literally all I had to do was follow up.
Right.
He laid everything out for me. Mm. I just had to contact Tyrell, make sure everything worked out, and then sign the contract with Derek Carter, and bam, it was done. And
I remember like when we were at Audio looking at Derek Carter, and I was like, because I never, I'm not a DJ head, so generally you're a DJ head if you like Derek Carter, not a DJ head, music head in that regard. Never really heard of him, but he's fierce. So he was fierce at Audio. You know what I mean? He did really good.
And that party also was very unique because Derek Carter, it was actually like a tour that he does. Derek does disco, okay, and so he's taken this set, to multiple venues,
okay,
and it's not his normal style of music. But the disco that he played was not like you're a dad party or something
because it came from people of color.
Like, it was
because
fierce.
It came from people of color, like I fucking said.
Okay,
so disco and jazz,
exactly.
All white, and I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say, or maybe some Donna Summers. Maybe if you can even recognize the songs that they play to dad. I don't even know if I can even hear. So we playing some disco songs. I'm like, who is this? Which is fine. But anyway, let's move on.
But the other really cool thing that he did in this party is that, the whole party was like, 120 beats a minute.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he dropped it down to like 80 beats a minute for like the last hour. And the whole vibe changed to this really sexy, like Sunday evening, like wind down, but not really.
I remember leaving at that point because I remember being like, okay, girl, bitch, because I was like, I'm trying to turn up on a Sunday, bitch. You know what I mean? That was for like the different heads who were like, yeah, I'm about to go fuck after this party. I fuck after at the after. It's okay. God. I don't even turn down that early, but it was fire. I mean, it was fire.
And I'm like, Gio and I looked at each other and we're like, that was a choice. And then after a few minutes, like a few songs, we kind of got it. Like it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like what he did was bold, and you can lose a dance floor. Mm-hmm. But it's Derek Carter. He's not going to lose a dance floor.
And he's been doing this for years.
Yeah,
right?
he knows what he's doing.
But and it's also what you come for. You come for an experience. You come from a journey. Like you're coming for it. When you come for a DJ, you're coming for that. So I feel the want to just make choices like that. You know what I mean? That's fair.
And so that kind of like made me feel really, really good about signing that contract with him. Right. Yeah. So, because it was a huge chunk of money. I've never done anything like that before.
And so, how did the party go?
The party turned out amazing. Like we had weekly meetings with F8 because this is our first big party, and also F8 wanted it to be successful too. Because they wanted to pack the house. For you.
Yeah. Plus, nobody wants to disappoint like a good DJ like that who won't come back.
Exactly.
Party. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we packed the house. We did this. We did this really cool thing. We bought this LED star curtain, which I think was probably.
Oh, that was yours?
Yeah, that was ours.
I love that.
Yeah. So we bought that and hung it, and it totally changed the whole vibe of what F8.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was just. I remember you asked me, "Did you like the decorations?" And I was like, "Yeah, I liked it, whatever." But I don't remember. I didn't know that the backdrop was yours. I liked the backdrop.
Yep. We packed the back room with our hard reset regular DJs.
Yeah, they were good. I remember getting it back there.
Yep.
What's really funny? A funny story. So like when you were telling me like about all the writers that Derek Carter has in his contract. I wasn't like annoyed for you, but I was like, damn, there's a lot of writers. And then I walked in and saw all those people, and I was like, you know what, honey? When he can pack the floor like this, he can have all those writers, bitch. You know what I mean? When you can pack that many people, when you just off your day, when, you know, when you can just like have that many people show up, baby, I will walk you to your Uber. You know what I mean? Like your Uber will be right here when you want it. You can stay at this hotel and this room. You know what I mean? Yes, baby, writer. Because he had a lot of people in that motherfucker.
And when he got out of the black car that I had to arrange from the hotel to the venue, I could not believe how many people like Derek Carter, you know, and he knew these people too. So like he has a really good following. It was like Raph really set me up to put Hard Reset on the map as a legitimate brand. And the best part about it...
I take that back. Raph, you were always a legitimate brand. I mean, you've been throwing successful parties weekly for a while.
Right.
I think he definitely put you he definitely like helps you upgrade yourself.
Elevated.
Yeah, elevated. Don't discount what you've done. You know what I mean? When you were legitimate before, but he elevated you a little bit.
Yeah. And then, so we did the weekly meetings, and then everything, once the party started, just went perfectly. That I didn't have to worry about anything except making sure that Derek Carter had everything that he needed in his rider, and making sure that the VIP room was set up, and Giovanni basically hosted the VIP room.
Okay.
Literally, it was just the best.
Cute. I'm glad we're talking about all these positives. Now let's talk about those party
negatives.
Because like I will just say that one of the reasons I don't like throwing parties and I don't really want to throw parties is because of the drama and the, you know, the negatives that come with the party promoting scene, which I think you have to navigate. So I'm interested to see your thoughts on those. So like, for example, like what do you think what are some of the negatives about being a party promoter?
I think, you know, I've been very fortunate so far that I haven't come across a lot of this, but
you've witnessed.
But I have witnessed. You do have to be very careful. It can be a little political.
A little.
And
what do you mean by that?
Now, you
don't have to use any names, but I mean, what do you mean by it being political?
Well, so I was on a podcast with you before about circuit music.
Yes.
That scene especially is very, very, very cutthroat, very political. The promoters are very concerned about their bottom line and their reputation. And they will do anything they can to make sure that they're the ones on top.
And I think the circuit scene promoters in this city can be very concerned about cachet. They can be very concerned about, you know what I mean? Or it's not cachet, like, you know, like making sure that like DJs are very exclusive, you know?
Yeah,
like,
they want exclusivity.
They want exclusivity. They want, you know what I mean? Venues can be kind of exclusive there, which you guys know my opinion on that. You should have to pay for exclusivity. And, you know, exclusivity shouldn't hurt the scene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so continue.
But I've been very fortunate that for the most part, I haven't really experienced a lot of that. I do know that it's hard to get past, like when I was trying to find other opportunities outside of the stud to do parties, it's very hard to get people's attention. And I noticed that other promoters were getting elevated and getting these opportunities before me, and I couldn't figure out why.
And that's where the relationships come in.
And this is where it comes down to a lot of kissing ass, money, you know, all of this
maybe
stuff.
A little cachet in the scene before, like, do they know you? Or you?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're dealing with, you know, other like drag queens trying to throw parties, or people who are, you know what I mean, blah 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 blah. So it's like there are different people coming with different things, different backgrounds. We'll say, right?
Well, and this is kind of where you can almost compare it to corporate America a little bit, because you really have to just talk about yourself all the time and tell everybody how amazing you are. And I'm not that person.
Well, here's the question: why do you feel that you have to do that? Because the reason I asked is because, girl, and I've talked about this forever. Every party promoter that I generally know is like kind of in general, there's the thing that happens where they just you can see them get a big head, and it starts out with blah blah blah, and then it becomes I create spaces for people, and I create spaces for safe spaces or whatever, and then it becomes this like thing, and then they just become like what I mean, the very it's like this God mentality, and then they become very, very high-minded and very into themselves and blah blah. And I've seen it across the country, I've seen it across the world, you know what I mean, and I've seen it happen to people even in the scene. So I'm just really interested in why you think you kind of have to big yourself up a lot.
Well,
is it just to get attention, to get people to...
It's to get attention, and I think a lot of venues, it's a risk for a venue to take on a new party promoter, right? And it's a risk for a party promoter to try a new venue, right? It goes both ways.
So you're putting your best foot forward, and you're coming with all your, this is what I can do, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. But especially when you're getting started, you're looking for venues that aren't going to cost you a lot of money. Those are the ones like Q Bar gave us a chance, but I had reached out to other venues in Castro and beyond, and I just kept getting passed up.
Because those bars were about you not fitting whatever image they thought was needed to make it worth the risk, is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
And I mean,
and by you say the mold, you mean what these bar owners think is going to work,
what they think is going to work. But the whole point of Hard Reset was that the Castro needs a hard reset.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the Sunday night vibe was just.
Bleh.
Yeah, it's stagnant.
And I think that's also, but that is a problem that like people know that. How does everyone but the fucking people who own bars and work in the bars and the Castro know that? Because everyone's been talking about that for a long time. People talk about how bad the music in the Castro is in general all the time. So it's just, is this even funneling up to these people who listen, or is it very like Trump? I'm not saying like Trump, but this is like for people who live in a bubble and only go to certain people to get yeses and okays, and so they're not even hearing what everyone's saying. Because I mean, I feel like you telling that to any of the people in the Castro, that should not be a surprise. That has been Castro music, and how bad it is has been something people have been talking about forever.
But I also think though a lot of the bars though in the Castro also are more profit minded than they are experience forward. They're just trying to make money.
True, but I think that they're going about the wrong way. You know what I mean? I think that they're coming at it from a corporate standpoint versus coming at it from like the creative standpoint, where if you give great shit, people will come. They're more like great shit is what has been kind of like corporatized to be decided, top 40, you know what I mean? Very the shit that everyone likes, or let's change it all the time. Let's have drag every 5 fucking seconds. Let's have sex part. Now it's about underwear parties.
Oh my God.
Every fucking party is an underwear party. Every new party is an underwear. We went from drag to underwear. Like every party's a new underwear party. Girl, this is SF. They're gonna fuck anyway. You don't need an underwear party. Every fucking party is an underwear party. I want to kill myself.
You could look at the calendar in the Castro, and there's 10 drag shows a week, and there's 7 underwear parties.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
even everywhere else now, even like in Kasoma, it's all you know what I mean? It's a sex club, it's an underwear party, it's a steam party, it's a blah blah blah. Like every party is just trying to get you fucking undressed. Do you know what I mean? And it's like when it's just.
And I remember one of the bar owners in Castro told me, lean into sex because sex sells, and that's what's going to make you successful. And for a minute I thought about it, and then Giovanni and I considered it a little bit further, and we're like, no,
that's just not your vibe.
We're just gonna stick to the music,
right? And there are tons of clubs, like, you know what I mean? There are actually almost every club in the world you can't fucking and can't have sex. I don't know why San Francisco thinks that that's the only way to market. You know what I mean? When everyone else is making money not doing it, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But on that note, let's take a break. It's a really good one, and we'll be back. And we're back, everyone, for our final section with the best interview, the most amazing interview with Craig Morrison. So we were talking about your fuck. Remind me what we were talking about. I just enhanced myself during this break. We were talking about we were talking about basically your struggles with getting a venue before Q Bar, because basically you were trying to bring a different type of party to the Castro that wasn't based on drag, wasn't based on sex, wasn't based on go-go's, and was based on DJs and different
something
music.
new
and different types of music, right? We're talking about techno, we're talking about like hard house, and not top 40s and not video shit.
Yeah.
Right.
I basically anything but pop music and drag shows is what I was selling Hard Reset as.
And what did one of the owners of Q Bar tell you, that like that was one of the parties he's always wanted to?
Yeah, so JB said he always wanted to kind of have like an underground, like New York style party. And we've also been compared a lot to what Honey Sound System used to do in San Francisco, which is a huge compliment for me because that group is legendary.
Yeah. Well, did I talk about it already on this interview where I said like what I appreciate is about like what I've always hated is, I think what a lot of us have felt is the embarrassment when you have people come to visit you in SF and then you want to recommend a place, for them to go for music, and it's like nothing really consistent, it's definitely not in the Castro, because like I said, it's either there's a drag show going on, and that's not saying that I'm gonna get drag shows, but I'm talking about good music to listen to, not drag shows, right? Different. And so then it's not Badlands, it's not, it's not the places in the Castro really, and then the places in Soma aren't consistent, and they're not all the time. So it's like it can be hard, and you can be kind of embarrassed when you just don't really have anywhere at a time to recommend for like good music, because it's all hit or miss, and what you have in your gay district is not it. Cool.
Yeah.
So I appreciate having Hard Reset in that regard, right? And I think kind of what the owner is saying.
Well, and also another reason I don't want Hard Reset necessarily to just be gay. I want to bring good music. Obviously, it's a queer space, but I want everybody to be welcome. And if I can go back to the 4th of July thing, I think I like hit that perfectly, because the 4th of July party, when we were going through the photos, it had every slice of life in San Francisco in that venue.
I mean, for your
it was definitely gay heavy, queer heavy, but
was it?
Well, I guess
I feel like it was like 60-40.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
Straight to like, but also it's hard for me to identify everyone as queer or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it felt a little 50-50. Let's just say that.
But
It was
the dream.
Yeah, and it's also
exactly
we're going for a DJ, right?
Yeah.
And if that's the crowd the DJ brings, that's the crowd the DJ brings.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's fine. It's like once again you're going for, and I'm sure everyone knows that. You know what I mean? And that was what it was like at Audio. Do you know what I mean? It was not like a just only straight crowd or only gay crowd. So
Yep.
I'm not hating on it. And you're right. Your brand is not just gay, because there are straight people and straight allies and stuff like that who come to Hard Reset and Q Bar, and just regular gays and other queers who don't know to come to the Castro, because the Castro to them is very one note, and not even in music, but just in look. You know what I mean? So it brings.
And we have brought people back to the Castro that stopped going to Castro.
Mm-hmm.
That's another
for that one note, because of that one note reason. You know what I mean?
Because we have something new and unique that was missing.
And also it's a little growner in the idea. It's just that it's not just about. I feel like the Castro is kind of very like, you're gay, you know what I mean? And so it's like fun, and it's giving you that like the top 40 vibe. It's giving you like the go-go fantasy. It's giving you the drag fantasy. It's giving you the bartender fantasy. But then this is just another way of another gay life, which is like also the music, you know what I mean? Because it's like, we just like, I don't know, some of the gay, like there's like really, I don't know, like, I don't know. I just like a lot of like gay music, or I like a lot of music.
Yeah.
And I like being gay at those music places, and it's not everything about just being gay, or they're not queer specific spaces, but a lot of like gay clubs in other cities have just great fucking music. Do you know what I mean? That's not just based on the top 40 zeitgeist idea. You know what I mean? So it's just like gay clubs can have just great music, and I want SF to be like that.
Well, we've also brought in a couple DJ collectives that are not in the queer space.
Mm-hmm.
Hot and Heavy was one of them. They came in and played an incredible freaking set of music. I could only get 2 of the 4 of them. I think it's 4 of them total.
In one group? In a one DJ group?
Yeah, it's a collective. Hot and
The
heavy.
fuck is a DJ collective? What do you do? What is here's a question for you. I've always wondered if you're like on the outside, if you're like a fan, what is the difference that you would see when you have like more than one DJ? Because I don't know, you know what I mean? Like what?
Oh, for like a collective?
Or a 2 or a 3 or whatever, because I'm always just like if I'm listening, the music's good, but like what is it about the 2 people that makes it unique? Or is it just that's the product they're giving you and it's like, like it's all the background stuff that you don't know?
Well, so it goes into like curating a lineup, right? So and we've talked about this I think off air more, but when you're curating a lineup, you have to tell a story through it.
Yeah.
You have to start with a warm up. You can go a little harder. You can then really challenge the audience with something that maybe they wouldn't come for, but you're going to take them on that journey and then you bring it back home. Well, a DJ collective can do that. They already have a lineup because they know each other's music very well and they play into each other. Hot and Heavy is one of those. They throw their own parties too. I know they do stuff at Foundry, and a couple of them were out of town almost all summer. I think we're getting one of them back in a couple months. We're getting into
the weeds here.
The other one though is Blends and Trends is another really good one.
Okay.
They work out of Valencia Room on Monday nights, but they do a lot of stuff independently. They are a really good house music collective, underground style. They don't play the stuff that you hear anywhere else. And we brought them in, and bringing those 2 crews in brought in a whole other audience to the Castro that would normally have not been there. That was my point.
Yeah, that's also, that's a good thing. Okay, so let's...
Very long journey to
Yeah. So let's get into what's like the most toxic thing you've kind of dealt with as a party promoter.
What is the most toxic thing I've dealt with as a party promoter? That's a hard one because
dealt with, observed, kind of like come to light, you know what I mean, with your just like in your time in the party promoting world.
I think false expectations. People have false expectations when you hire them sometimes.
Okay. What does that mean?
How can I say this? I think people, I don't even know if this is that toxic though.
It's your version of toxic. I'm not asking for like the worst story in the world, but I was like, what is a bad practice, or something you've seen that's just not good? It's toxic. Toxic can be a range. You know what I mean?
So I actually think that the most toxic thing is actually a personal thing that I need to work on. I am afraid to rely on other people to get anything done. So I'm going to talk about my own toxicity in this one because I honestly can't think of anything that.
Okay, for example, like that's not true. I think we both witnessed.
Help me out here.
People not getting paid on time. We've witnessed, we've witnessed people's like work product being like used to throw other parties. I'm talking about these kind of like what is kind of some of the most toxic. What's something that's toxic you've seen kind of in the party sphere? That's what I'm really talking about.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Actually, with the not being paid on time, I do know a lot of promoters throw parties that are hoping to make money. Like they're doing it for the money. And I think that's doing a party for the wrong reason. I think if you're going to throw a party, you need to already know that you can pay people. So you need to have savings. You need to be able to pay what you're promising people. You don't have to have a contract. Okay. If you're going to bring somebody in for a 1-hour set, even if it's only $100, you can't say, oh, well, I didn't make money on this party. I can't really pay you the $100. Like, you have to pay people what they're worth.
Right. On time.
It costs a lot of money to be a DJ, whether you think so or not. Like, they spend a lot of time scouring the internet for music, and then that music isn't free. You have to you have to pay for it.
Right.
You have to pay for storage. You have to have a nice computer. You have to have a mixer to practice on. I mean, all of this stuff costs a lot. And so I think that it's very disrespectful when a promoter doesn't come through on their promise. I also think that the bars don't really pay talent what it's worth for their DJs. You know, I spend $400 a night on music. And that's for a 4-hour party. So you know what I'm paying my DJs, okay? Right. I'm going to be totally transparent about it. I still think that they should be paid more, to be honest. But it's a Sunday night party and a 100 capacity, 100 person bit. You know what I mean? But if you're hiring a DJ on a Saturday night in a venue that holds 250 people and you're charging a $10 cover to get in and you're packed, why are you only paying your DJ $300 or $400
for a 5-hour set?
6 hours.
6 hours.
You know what I mean? And they don't get a lunch break.
With the going rate for a DJ is like $200. You know what I mean? Like, unless maybe 150 to 200, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get to a point at Hard Reset where I could promise the local talent, the people who work for me, $150 an hour.
I think if you're
that's the dream for me.
Yeah, but you're also like, I think you have it right in that you're basing it on like amount of people. You know what I mean? If your total amount of people is only 80, you know what I mean? Then like, and you're playing for an hour, then that's I can understand that 100 because that proportionally I think that works out to 150 and to a club of 300 or 250 or 200.
You scale it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think you just keep doing that scale and you're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that I've dealt with and heard a lot.
I think another side of it is that people are afraid to pay a cover. But I think that a lot of bars charge a cover for the wrong reasons. Like, for example, Badlands, they charge a cover on Saturday night. Why? What do they have in there? There's no DJ headliner. They're playing the same music they always do. They have a few go-go dancers, but like,
just to make money.
What are they doing with it? You know what I mean? I'm sure they're not paying anybody any extra.
Right.
And they're making a ton of money at the bar.
Right.
So, but when I charge a cover at my party, I sometimes have to stand at the door and explain to people, this doesn't go to the bar.
Right.
And then they'll come in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think like charging a cover is kind of like taboo because people think that it's just the bar being greedy.
I mean, but it's also kind of a thing like in LA, you pay cover. You know what I mean? I think it's also like, it is what it is. And those people, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think to your point, like when my friends have done that and people have complained, they're thinking, I don't want to pay another $10. And maybe, now that's something that was different from a little before. You might have to start thinking about what bars you go to if you're paying cover, and that's fine. That's their choice. But we're not going to not charge cover because we got shit to pay for. You know what I mean? It's either that or we charge you, you know what I mean, $35 for a drink, which you're going to complain about anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
maybe.
I just think that's just people, that's fine that they have this conversation about their budget, but that's not your problem. You know what I mean? Like multiple cities have door, you know what I mean, whatever, payments. And it's like, if you're of course you're going to do what other people are doing in Castro. Why would you not? That's stupid not to. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so that's good. I think it's really good. But here you have a couple questions for me. Let me wrap it up.
Oh, I do. I don't know why I have to look at my notes for this.
It's fine.
Okay, first question. I know Roman likes to read.
I do.
And I went on a reading binge during the pandemic. Now I don't have time because I work at Marriott and throw parties, but I was wondering what your favorite book of all time is and why. I know it's hard because.
Well, I mean, I just had this conversation, not just this conversation, but I had a conversation with someone about like books, and he was like talking about a series that I recommend. So it's not one book, but it's a series called The Bulgariad by David Eddings. And it was just, I like to read fantasy books. And it's just like that series, when I discovered it, it's like maybe like 10 books. And it's amazing. Do you know what I mean? And I read it like, so I've probably read that series 10 times. I haven't read it in a while. I probably wanted to read it again. But it's my favorite because like it literally just epitomizes everything I like about fantasy and everything I want in a fantasy series. Oh. So yeah, The Bulgariad by David Eddings.
I'm going to have to check
Good question. Yeah.
Second,
okay.
I have always been a musical gay, and I know recently you've seen a couple shows in San Francisco. Have you always been into musicals, or is this new?
No, yeah, like I've been, because I was in, theater in high school, and so I did like Into the Woods, you know what I mean, that, and so I've always been, when I was younger, and my mom would go to the library, she would always bring me like, was it fucking shit Rent, right? She would always bring me the Rent videos, and then I'm blanking on that. I'm blanking Tits and Ass.
Oh, Chorus Line.
The one with Michael Douglas.
See, I am a musical.
Yeah, so the one with Michael Newsies is my favorite. Disney Newsies. Yeah. So like I've always been a Broadway gay.
Okay,
and I have a Broadway voice.
So the real question is, what is your favorite musical and why?
Newsies, because I love it. It's so good. It's just the dancing. The white boys are hot in it. The music is good, and I just like I watched it like all the time when I grew up. That and probably a Chorus Line.
Okay, cool.
That was really good. Thank you for those questions. I love it. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. This has been a really fun interview. Thank you, Craig. I thank you all. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, my IG is WHENN. Keep it sassy, San Francisco. We love you. And that's it.
Thank
Bye.
you for having me.
Bye. First I was afraid. I was petrified. Can't think it out by my side. And you think so many nights thinking how you look strong, and I go strong. I just don't remember the fucking words. How to get along, and now you're back from outer space.